Welcome everybody to this weekly series of Cognitive Systems Institute Group CSIG talks. They typically happen on Thursdays at 10:30 a.m., 30-minute talks on all topics related to AI and data science. And today we're very excited to have a talk about professional certification for data scientists with Stephen Borchardt, who's a director at the Open Group and manages the Open Profession programs, and from Maureen Norton at IBM, who leads the data science profession at IBM. I'm going to hand over to Maureen now. They can take it away.
Okay, thank you very much, Susan, and welcome everyone. So data scientists have been around for a long time, and IBM has always had great admiration for the work that data scientists do. And when you think about that role, data scientists are working in this exploding world of data. And we've all hear very often about how much more data is generated each and every day. So the role of data scientist is increasingly critical and important to all kinds of organizations, enterprises, and governments. And one of the key things is a lot of connecting of the dots, right? To gather the insights, to be able to help companies, optimize performance and detect fraud, and in the medical and health area, help diagnose, treatments, diagnose cancers and prescribe good treatments as an advisor to doctors. So the sky is the limit in terms of what this profession does. And a few years ago, we started thinking about how this really is, in many ways, a new profession because of the term data scientist, which has gotten a lot of great press. It's been the leading job in the US in the IT area for the last 4 years, according to Glassdoor. So this is a true profession. And what we wanted to do is make sure that this profession really got the recognition that it deserves. And so as we thought about, okay, what is a data scientist? We know that data scientists, they're really pioneers. Some people like to call them rock stars. They have quantitative training. They're really good at business acumen, so they can understand a problem and then help solve it using quantitative methods and building models and AI. And they also are very effective at communicating those insights and results. So that's a high bar to set. That there may be people who are really good in one or more of those areas, but getting a data scientist who can really do the job is something that requires a lot of experience and a lot of training. I think it's pretty obvious to the people probably on this call, since you signed into it, is why is it important? Right? Because it does all kinds of things. You can improve forecasting. It helps to optimize results. Risk management is a huge area. And I like the quote that's on this chart too. Hiding within those mounds of data is knowledge that could change the life of a patient or, in fact, change the world. And there's lots of great examples of that. So as we were thinking about that, and I'd like to acknowledge George Stark, who is my colleague and helped co-create what we're going to be talking about today with the Open Group. We went to the board at the Open Group with a proposal. They always, had a great certification program for architects and tech specialists, and we thought it was time that a organization such as the Open Group that sets standards, that has, such a great reputation globally, look at data scientist as a new profession. So George and I made a presentation to the board a couple of years ago proposing that a new profession be added, that of data scientist. And the Open Group really welcomed that. And we started to work together through them with other companies to develop what we're going to share today. But you might think, like, why is certification for data scientists really needed? Well, first of all, we know that data scientists really work on mission critical issues. And right now there is such a shortage of data science talent, even with all the universities who have been building their programs and starting to graduate, and there's boot camps, and there's some great online courses, MOOCs, and micro degrees you can take. There's lots of ways to build skills and get education. What we wanted to really focus on is how people are applying that to actual business problems, right? So that you can verify, yes, you not only have the knowledge and that kind of thing, but that you're actually applying it, your projects are peer reviewed, and you are reaching a level where you are certified at one of 3 different levels. So certification, we know, drives value. This is from a IT skills and salary report. This is not data science specific, mind you, because certification in that field is relatively new. But overall, there seems to be a lot of value, and increasingly so, on certifications. So this particular survey showed that leaders in the business thought that certified team members were faster at troubleshooting, completing projects, they had fewer gaps, and they really drove significant economic benefit. So at this point, I'd like to turn it over to Steve to tell us a little bit more from the Open Group about the Open Group and the data scientist certification. Steve, over to you.
Oh, thank you, Maureen. That was a great introduction and explanation of the overall program and the professional certification. It's a very exciting and valuable certification that we launched last year, and we're really seeing a great deal of interest. So I guess you're going to drive the slides. So there we go. That's the next slide. Thank you. So first, I'm going to talk a little bit about a brief overview of what the Open Group is and what we do. Essentially, we're a certification and standards development organization with over 600 members globally from all areas of technology, customers, systems and solution suppliers, tool vendors, integrators, consultants, as well as academics and researchers. But we're a very productive and sophisticated global organization that brings all of those people together. Achievement and developing standards and certifications that are valuable is very important to us. Our achievement is so important, we said it twice. On to the next slide, please. And I'm moving along myself here as we go. So we have a very large global footprint. It grows every single day. I'm on the engagement side in both membership and our certifications, and I can assure you that this is not a static organization by any means. We grow on a day-to-day basis, not only with the depth and breadth of our membership and contributions, but also in the initiatives. People are bringing us things that they would like us to do. As IBM did the data scientist program, virtually every day, every month. Move on. The Open Group itself is organized in what we call forums, work groups, consortiums, and this is just a list of all of the various forums that we have that are operating in the Open Group and have been operating for a long time. All of these forums are available for people to join and contribute into as an organization. We don't have individual memberships, but your organization become a member and contribute in any of these areas. And these are our forums, everything from IT architecture all the way through technical standards, things in the Open Process Automation Forum. We have one called an Open Subsurface Data Universe that's creating a cloud platform for seismic data. So everything from general architecture all the way through very specific technical standards and certifications that the Open Group develops, all going on at the same time. Next slide, please.
I did advance it. I don't know if there's a delay here.
Thank you. Yeah, I was going to say a little bit of a delay on my side. Sorry.
Okay.
We also, in addition to the forums, we have vertical industry consortiums and consortia that the DoD once again came to us for the Future Airborne Capability Environment and what's called the SOSA, which is Sensor Open Systems Architecture, to develop standards and certifications specifically for people that supply the DoD. So those are a couple of very interesting areas that that we also have work in. So I guess the bottom line on that is that the Open Group is a very broad and deep and sophisticated organization in the work that we do. The outcome, the standard, the objective of all of our forums and work groups is to create and continuously develop and update needed standards that the industry has reached out to us and said that it needs. And the output then are the standards of that work in each one of these forums and consortia. And along with that, then from standards, follow on the certifications. Professional certifications, process certifications, product certifications. So we pretty much cover the entire spectrum of certifications from the forums and consortia that we manage and operate within the Open Group. Next slide. So the topic for today is really our professional certification program. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. It's a very big subject, so I'm going to try to cover as much of the highlights as I can today. We have two different types of certifications that the Open Group develops, manages the certification of for people. One category is a knowledge-based certification, and those are knowledge gained through training, self-study, and then it's a test program. So you gain the knowledge, you take the test, you become certified. The other part of the professional certification program that we create and manage is the experience-based certification, and that certification is what the Open Certified Data Scientist program is. So it's more of a life's work and experience-based certification with a series of milestones and a board review that goes along with it. Next slide. We have three large and broad categories of experience-based certifications. As Maureen mentioned earlier, we have the Certified Architect program. We have the Certified Technical Specialist program, and last year we added the Open Certified Data Scientist program. With 3 levels, Certified, Master, and Distinguished. I think these are all things that people at IBM are very familiar with, of course, but the outcomes and objectives of this are very clearly understood by the marketplace. A way to measure candidates' capabilities and qualifications. It's an efficient and successful recruiting process with consistent results. It enables organizations to formalize and recognize career progression, and it helps identify best candidates for critical roles and responsibilities. Tried and true and well established in the marketplace. And now adding the Open CDS program really rounds out our professional experience-based certifications. Next slide. So without going into too much detail on this, the conformance requirements and the steps to become certified in our Open Professions program, we try to keep it as consistent as we can across the various programs, and it's a milestone program, and I think that's becoming the industry standard for these kinds of certifications. So you don't have to do it all in one piece. And I know Maureen's probably going to talk a little bit about that when I'm done. But you can break it down into smaller pieces and do it in a milestone and have those milestones reviewed as you progress toward your certification and your board review. Maureen, I think that slide actually opens up if you click. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Keep
good. Going. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. So one of the areas that requires a little further explanation is that we have an indirect path for candidates, and that's where your company becomes accredited to manage their own Open Professions program, of which IBM is an accredited certified partner and does their own program, and we call that indirect. So you work with IBM, and we accredit IBM and work with them to manage the program. There's also the direct method, where a candidate can come in, go directly to our website, register, pay the fees, and start their journey in the milestone program, and work directly with the open group to become certified in the data scientist certification. So again, without going into gory detail, that's the sort of the top level of the program. Next slide.
Oops. Oh, there we go.
This one may have the same issue.
Okay.
Might as well open it all up.
Okay. I think that's the last of it, right?
There we go. I think so. So whether it's indirect or direct, we have tried to again standardize the milestone program, the badge program, to have a path to your certification, and they all involve 5 application forms, 5 badges. They don't have to be done in any particular order. Again, it's an experience-based certification. So there's a very good roadmap. Once you become registered to become certified, it opens up to you the opportunity to look at these roadmaps and learn how to submit your milestone packages. And there's 1 professional communication package, 1 professional development package, and 3 experience profiles. And we have that as a standard open professions certification path, of which Maureen has been very involved in. She has been one of the key architects of developing the Open CDS certification program. Next slide. So again, not to drill down too far, the elements of the Open CDS program, the key skill and contribution of data scientists, as Maureen said, is to bring the organization the ability to integrate statistical, economic, and computer science techniques to address business problems. Every manager is looking for solutions to business problems, and this area has been explosive amongst the membership of the open group and in the industry. So it truly is being recognized as a valuable certification for companies to have people that can solve problems in the data scientist area. Next slide. So last slide is you can go to this web address. It's on our website, and there is a mountain of information. Virtually everything you'd ever want to know about the Open CDS certification program, how to get registered, how to apply, how it works, templates, oh, you name it, it's all there, including if you cannot find what you're looking for, there are many email and links to contact us with specific questions. And we have great people, including myself, who will be happy to get back to you with questions that you may not be able to find the answers to in looking at the information that's on these websites. But we encourage you to go there first and do some research and become knowledgeable about the certification and the path to certification, and then we're ready, willing, and able to help out with whatever we can to get you through your certification. And that's the end of my presentation. And thank you very much for your time and interest. And Maureen's going to talk a little bit more specific about the program at IBM.
All right, thank you so much, Steve. The Open Group has been a great partner. IBM, we were going to be developing kind of these career model and standards for our own data scientists, but we really didn't want to do that in a vacuum and have just an IBM view of the world. We thought this was definitely more important and something that we wanted to contribute in terms of an industry type standard. So the Open Group was our partner, and we kind of came in with the first draft, if you will, but then through the Open Group, we worked with other companies so that what we have developed here and what we're going to be sharing is sort of just not our view of what a data scientist, should do and the standards to be met, but really a collaborative effort of several companies. Steve made the point earlier about there's really two different types of certification, not just with the open group, but in general, and there is a source of confusion. A lot of people look at certifications, but they're thinking the knowledge-based ones, which is you go take some courses and a test, and you earn a certificate, or there are certifications. But this is very different. This is really that professional level of certification. And it's really intended to be more of a career journey. And so IBM has built a career model for our data scientists, and we implemented it in alignment with those standards that were co-developed with the open group and all the partners there. So our implementation of this is accredited, as Steve mentioned, which means anybody in IBM who is certified through our internal process will be awarded the external recognition of the equivalent level from the open group. They do not have to go directly to the open group. IBM picks up all the cost for it for the IBMers, and it's really basically you get certified in IBM, and it's like a 2-for-1 because you will also get the open group one. So that we think is very valuable, and several of our folks are very proud of what they have achieved in terms of both of those certifications. And then the other thing is, I want to mention that in its first year, this was just launched by the Open Group in January of 2019. It has already become an award-winning certification. The IBM's implementation of this model recently won a Silver Stevie Award in the Best Employers category in September of this year. And I'll show you a little bit later, it's also made the top 15 most influential data scientist certification list. So, I mean, for a newly launched certification, I think it's already achieved quite a bit of press and recognition as something that is really needed. And so we're going to talk a little bit. So within IBM, we wanted this to be really a career model and path along with certification. So our data scientists go from a very junior level, and we have people who would progress along this path, including distinguished engineer, which, as I mentioned, George Stark is on the call. George is one of our DEs, and IBM fellow. So what we wanted to make sure our data scientists knew is that this is a very rich and robust career model where it can take you, very far. And as we wanted to go along with, okay, how we want to certify folks in terms of their career journey, there's 3 levels. The level 1 experienced, which is generally for people with less, a little more than 3 years experience. Level 2, less than 3 years. Level 2, 3 or more years experience, and level 3 thought leader, which is really kind of the distinguished data scientist that Steve mentioned. So we have, as we were putting this model together, we already had people at several different levels. So our implementation of it in IBM is, we already had very experienced, people, well, expert people. So depending on their background and board review, they could apply directly to level 2. Because we just wanted to acknowledge the certification was new, but we've had people at these levels for a while. So as Steve mentioned, this is experience-based and project-based. So you see kind of the illustration below. It's intended to be kind of a milestone approach as you go along in your career. So it's not like you get to this point and you have a huge package you have to put together to become certified. You do this as you go. So, you would start with, if you've done a project, you can write that project up and submit it. That gets peer reviewed. Then there's also leadership or give back kind of things that we require. So we have defined the skill levels, the projects, and then for leadership and give back badges, we have a selection of them being an IBM mentor is one of the requirements for all levels. The intellectual capital, intellectual property, if they're speaking and presenting at conferences, teacher, educator, and profession champion. So we have several different ways that our data scientists can earn those kind of leadership and give back badges. You will notice on this, I know it's a busy chart, but the skills listed for level 1 and level 2 are identical. So the difference is the depth of that skill. So at level 1, we expect the skill level to be, you're able to complete projects, you have an applied level. Whereas at the level 2, it's a deeper level of those same skills. Like you're leading the projects, you're helping the more junior people. But then there's a significant leap over to level 3 thought leader certification, which it assumes, because you have a level 2 certification already, you're very solid, you're an expert on those skills. But that thought leader requires a much different set of skills along with that. So, you're having a more strategic impact, you're maybe going across different organizations, and it's, as the name implies, the thought leader, and you're viewed that way, and you're really having a broader impact. So at a high level, that's kind of the certification roadmap. We have internally built, a website that has all kinds of detailed information, examples of project profiles that are successful, how to do this. We have a Slack channel built up. So we've put a lot of, support around it to be able to help people through the process. And then, as I mentioned, it was recently recognized by the CIO.com as one of the top 15. And as you can see, this list of 15 actually is a combination of several that are knowledge-based and are experience-based. Most of these are actually more specific to a particular vendor or product, but there is a Open Certified Data Scientist one right there, which is the one we've been telling you about today. So that is the conclusion of our remarks. There's certainly a lot more detail, as Steve mentioned, that we could go into at a different time, but we wanted to give a kind of overview in 30 minutes of what we have. So
thank you. Thank you so much, Maureen, and thank you so much, Steve. Are there any questions? Let's have a look in the chat and see what questions there are. So here's one from Scott. I noticed the open group. Oh, can you post the IBM link in Slack channel mentioned? What I'll do for the IBMers, I'll send you the information on the, if you registered for the call, I'll send the information, because is it a W3 link, Maureen? Can you post it in there, or?
Yes, it'll just take me a minute I gotta
stop
sharing so I can go get it.
Sharing. Yes, okay, very good. And I'll send the slide, and you can put the slide channel there too, if you
all right, and
mind.
Yep.
And then and please thank the speakers in the chat if you find the call helpful. Will there ever be letters we can put after our name for certification?
Well, there certainly is a logo that the Open Group gives you a trademark license agreement for, that you can use in any communications that you have with anyone.
Okay, very good. And then let me just read Scott's question, which I stopped halfway through. Thank you. I noticed the Open Group has offices in many countries. What's professional certification for data scientists focus internationally? And with regard to IBM certification program and IBM, is it 160 countries? Are there plans for developing in other languages in the Open Group or IBM?
We always have a plan for other significant languages that need to be addressed. I don't know, Maureen. I don't know if your committee has made any decisions around that yet, but it is always on our radar. Yes.
And I'm sorry, I've been looking for links and my system is not cooperating. So George, if you have access to them, help me out here.
Yeah, somebody's posted the link already, I think.
Oh, good.
So you can relax, Maureen.
Okay, good. I'm sorry I wasn't as focused on the question because of that.
So yes, it was the question was about what countries, what languages, you know, is there going to be support in, you know, non-English sort of? Yes.
Oh, yes. We in IBM, this is a global offering to our employees. So we have actually been putting in place different geography leaders. So Japan has got several people certified already. We have leaders in several of the, you know, in Europe, in China, in India, and I'm blanking on the other ones, but even if there's not a named geography leader at this point, anybody can access this from, you know, within IBM and be able to get certified. So we're making sure that this is truly a global program. And then working with the open group, I know that Steve, this is probably a separate talk or something, but you know, the open group has reciprocal agreements with other standards organizations in different parts of the world as well. So we're kind of early in the process of kind of working with them, but that's another thing that we'll be hoping to enhance as we go.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Susan?
I was just looking to see if there were any more questions, and I don't see any more. And so thank you. Oops, somebody's posted something. Let me just quickly check. Oh, they're just thank yous to everybody. And thank you so much for doing this, Stephen and Maureen. And happy holidays if you'll celebrate. And this talk series will move to Wednesdays next year. So 10:30 a.m. US Eastern on Wednesdays. So thank you all for joining. The recording will be posted, and I'll put the link again in the chat where the recording is going to be posted, and look forward to meeting you all next year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.